Connie Love here.
And this is Lewis.
I hope everybody's good today. Subscribe and like this video. Try to hit like. It helps to get more information out there.
And the like button has that big thumb on there like that.
Thumbs up. Okay, so we're going to do a video about
the history of targeting. We got a lot of stuff to talk about right now, and hopefully you're going to sit there and listen and watch it, because
it is some serious stuff. Some stuff that I haven't heard anybody talk about.
It's some crazy pieces of history and about our history and things, how they came to be, and the rest, and the prologue of our, and then the future, of course.
Yes, in the future.
So first, we want to waste time. So first, we want to get into Adam and Eve.
Okay, so God made Adam and Eve on the sixth day, and so that he put them in this beautiful place called the Garden of Eden, where everything was beautiful. They had every choice of whatever they wanted to eat in that Garden of Eden. But he left one thing. It was called the tree of
life.
And they were not supposed to go near that tree. It was forbidden for them. Anyway, there was a serpent, and the devil's been rolling, and the demons been rolling, because we're not dealing with flesh and bones, rolling around forever. He connected with Eve. In Eve, I guess he caught Eve at a very weak moment, lied to her, like we are always lied to. And so she took the information he gave her to Adam, and Adam fell for the same lie. They got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Got kicked out. Now, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. They got kicked out. We are a descendant of Adam and Eve. And Eve was a targeted individual, and so was Adam. Abel was a targeted individual, but not Cain. He was the dark side. Abel was the light side. You always got your good and your bad, your yin and your yang. So, moving forward.
The bad wife, the good wife.
Exactly.
Or the bad husband, the good husband, whatever.
Exactly.
So my take on Adam and Eve is like, Adam was the man, and Eve was made from Adam, his rib, which is why men have 12 ribs instead of 13, and women have 13 ribs instead of 12. So in that case, in that sense, Eve, or the serpent, Satan, Lucifer, came to the Garden of Eden. Somehow he had infiltrated the Garden of Eden and totally disgraced Eve, and told her to take the fruit from the tree and bite of it, because God had mentioned, don't take from the tree of life. You can eat whatever you want to have inside the Garden of Eden. Inside the Garden of Eden, but not this one tree. So, to me, I think God put that there for a test of humanity, to make their own decisions of what they want.
To give them a sense of freedom of choice.
So that freedom of choice came from Eve to persuade herself into making a decision for humankind, or mankind, which gave them the knowledge from the tree of life. Now, God might have planted that there for them to obtain the knowledge that they were looking for, but was specifically forbidden to be eaten from the tree of life. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, but they were given that choice, and Eve took the wrong choice. And for that, people do pay for making the wrong decisions.
Right. Well, God might have persuaded it so it wouldn't be on him. If people did make that choice for the knowledge that they were given, we wouldn't have space travel, or space travel, going to space, or doing all these things. But we have war, and we have
And rumors of war.
wars and all this stuff. So it was already depicted. If you go into Revelation, since Constance did say that rumors of war, it was already depicted in the Bible.
Biblically.
Yeah, or created from the wisdom of men. Once
Exactly.
people have accepted the tree of life to be given,
Not forbidden fruit.
right. So we'll move on to the next subject, and that is the Garden of Eden. And this is going to be something that might be new to some of you people. The old continent of Africa once was called Akibulon. It was, which means the mother of humankind, or mother of mankind. And knowing the fact that mankind is very important, because mankind comes from a long-standing.
Yes. And Egypt is in Africa too.
Yeah, Egypt is in the northeastern side of the country, the very tip. You have Egypt.
And there's a lot of pyramids in Egypt that are still standing.
Yeah, a lot of pyramids, like the Giza pyramids that are up under the Orion's belt. But seemingly, they have power. So, but the Garden of Eden in Akibulum is believed to be in Africa, or Akibulum. The Romans had gave the name Africa to the continent there, and which you have Ethiopia at the bottom, then you have the Saharas, and then you have what else? So you have Chad, Iraq, right?
Yes, all of them are like in the same kind of area. Yeah, same area as that.
So it'd be basically almost the same area as the Canaanites, which derive probably more in the northern part of Africa.
So we're dealing with BC.
Yeah, in the BC area, which Christ was born in what time?
It was 400. No,
Just
it
4
was
BC.
4 BC.
It was 4 BC. Between 4 BC and 6 BC,
Yes.
which was when Christ was born, and then the king at that time in Jerusalem was called King Herod.
Yes, and he was bound and determined to make himself look good. He didn't want nothing or nobody to come along to degrade what he wanted to teach the people. It's like another form of mind control. He figured that his authority over the people and his control over the people were mind controlling them. See, this technology been around for a long time, but it's been in different ways. So he
ended up once he had learned about the King of Jews to come. I'm not sure if he learned about who it was supposed to be, but in the Old Testament they talked about the coming of Christ. So in the Pharisees, all the Jews were talking about the king coming, and King Herod was opposed by this threat and went out and murdered babies all across the land.
under
Two or under all across the land, and
But
never
they
found
hid
Jesus because Jesus was in Bethlehem and he was born, and where he was born, and never found him. So, which led another timeline of events, because Jesus wasn't born, and the people, his parents, Jesus' parents at that time had completed their mission by evading him being murdered. So once they had found out that babies were being killed, they took off.
And like I said, it's another form of mind control and controlling the minds to get people to do and believe what you want them to do. Don't nobody want nobody to say anything or do anything or bring a baby in the world that they know is going to influence other people for the good.
Yeah. So, which would bring John the Baptist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
John the Baptist was he used to baptize people in the Jordan River.
Now, John the Baptist was born of Elizabeth. Elizabeth was Mary's cousin. And when Mary went to visit Elizabeth, John the Baptist jumped for joy in her womb, because Jesus was in Mary's womb.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a very high thing right there. You know, to think about it when you talk about Mother Mary being born with a baby of Christ. That's
conceived by the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit, which implanted a seed inside of her to grow the Lord Jesus Christ inside of her stomach.
Isn't that a privilege for any mother?
It's a born to be type of thing.
Born to be great.
So John the Baptist was later on. He had baptized Jesus after many baptisms. That was what he did. And when Jesus came around, John had baptized Jesus, receiving the Holy Spirit, which baptism has a big symbolism into cleansing your body and sealing your fate with God and
covering you and anointing you with the blood of Jesus. Yeah. But John was telling the people that asked him, "Are you the coming Messiah?" John said, "No, I am not. The one that's coming, I'm not even qualified to wash his feet."
Right. So that was another reason
Anonymous
why
official,
that was another reason why John the Baptist was targeted by King Herod, because once they had taken King Herod or John the Baptist to prison because John had spoken up about King Herod taking on another wife, which was his brother's wife, and took his sister-in-law, which his brother's name was Philip, and he took his sister-in-law instead, and ended up being persuaded to have John the Baptist's head on a platter or on a charger,
just for somebody to dance for him.
Yeah, just to have a dance. So you can see how these people are corrupted and how easy it is for them to just gain wealth and knowledge just based off of what they do. So it doesn't matter to them what they do to you as long as they get what they want.
Yes. It's all about a form of control to them.
You see the corruption.
And just like nowadays, it was the same back then. They did not want nobody outspoken. They did not want nobody to have the freedom to say what they wanted to say.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Same.
John had spoken up and said something, and he ended up going to prison for it. So next we want to talk about is Moses, the Ark, and the Nephilim, fallen angels, which brought on the giants.
Well, God sent the watchers down to earth to watch over the people, to protect the people. And you have your good watchers and your bad watchers. But the watchers, angels, they saw these beautiful women, and they wanted to mate with these women. So they had sex with these women, and they made the Nephilims. And the Nephilims grew up to be big giants, and they destroyed the city. And
which those parts are part of the book of Enoch, which is Noah's great grandfather. So basically, the whole entire world was covered over by these fallen angels and the breeding of the fallen angels, including the people of Cain.
Yes.
And which we should have probably talked about earlier was Cain and Abel.
Right, Cain and Abel.
But that's
and
fine
Seth
because a lot of
was Adam's third child.
Right. So God decided to flood the earth and get rid of all the sin that was covering the world, which was sexual cultures
and deviancy.
Sexual deviancies, much like what we're seeing today. And God had told Noah to create the ark, and it took him 100 years to build it.
It took him 100 years to build
That's
the
a
ark.
long time to build an ark.
But you know, God gave him. God is such an awesome God. He gave the people, just like he said, do not mess with the forbidden tree. He gave them a choice. Noah went to them, and Noah asked them, "Do you want to get on the boat?" They said no. They laughed at him. They thought he was a joke.
Yeah, God also gave the gift of sex, which was between the man and the woman. It's a gift, and and having that kind of relationship and being married and doing all these things would stop a lot of that, what he called pestilence.
Adultery, fornication, all the things that the demons connect with that can target your being. They can connect with you on a level that totally and absolutely changes your whole personality.
Yeah, and even today's biggest topic is pedophilia, sex with children.
Yes. And the demons can connect with you to cause you to feel something maybe you've never felt before. Something maybe you've never even thought of doing before. But this is another form of targeting. Pornography. There's so many different ways to be targeted. Drugs, alcohol, pornography, adultery, fornication. It's all bad stuff. You don't hear no good stuff in that.
No, pornography is put in place to subtract you from your mind and open up doors to other things like leaving your marriage, finding other wives, or polygamy. Things of that nature. Bestiality.
Yeah, so
having sex with creatures.
It's awful. So we're gonna move on.
So, but that's one of the biggest things that's happened today, and it's going into the schools. You know, we're living in the times of the fallen angels.
Yeah, we're kind of like living in Noah's days, and we're also living in another form of the Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
We're being experimented on.
Spiritual Holocaust.
Yeah.
And mental.
Yeah.
So the next one that we're going to go to is Noah created the ark to be saved by the world after God had flooded the earth. This is something that I really want to go into because in 1 Peter it mentions that 1 Peter it talks about how Noah was saved by water, and there were 8 souls that were saved for 40 days and 40 nights. Much like when Jesus went to the desert to pray for 40 days and 40 nights, fasted.
And he was tempted by the
devil. And the devil came to him and said that, or Lucifer came to him and said that he would give him everything, which he denied every bit of it.
He looked over, he says, look over the mountain, everything you see, I will give you all of that if you deny God. And he said it was written, he had a choice to make.
Okay, so the choices are all a part of humanity, but the Son of God was sent here to do a mission, and he wasn't going to be bestowed upon anything else other than what he had to do, which led him to the cross. So, let's see. Here's a very small piece of information, but a good topic to talk about. Now, you guys can talk about it, but it's a town called AI or I. Mm-hmm. Which some people will say artificial intelligence, which it might have some reflections. You can look it up online. The Mountain of I, which was a town. But you can look it up online. You can see the theories on it, which refers to artificial intelligence in some cases. But Aetion was a man that lived inside AI or I, and he had pillaged over the Israelites.
Yeah, because the Israelites, they were trying to stone the Israelites, and that upset him, highly upset him.
And this information is found in the book of Joshua in the Bible, and Joshua came back and destroyed the town of Ai.
They sent 300 soldiers up there to just sweep it out.
So you see, it's a, when you're under attack, attacking and getting rid of the evil is pretty much where things should most likely take place. But the world is so locked down that you can't do the things that you need to do, even in your own homeland or territory or anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So the Israelites were targeted. They were targeted with mind controls, orchestrated by maybe alien technology. Also that they were targeted because the mind control caused them to be slaves. And for, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 400 years.
Probably a long time. And the next one is in the book of Enoch, which is not a part of the canon Bible, but it's still a scroll that was found, which shouldn't be any different from anything else.
They didn't put Enoch in the Bible for a long time. And I think it's very important that we all read the book of Enoch.
And decide for yourself.
Yeah.
But Enoch, the Watchers
are in Enoch.
The Watchers. Who are the Watchers?
Mm-hmm.
The Watchers were sent to the earth
The
to
Watchers are the fallen angels.
watch over humans.
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
No, they are the
They
ones
saw
that
them beautiful women, and they
had to.
They had to go that
Because
route.
I guess they had thought that they wanted to have a separate race from humans, or entice humanity into a larger scale, which brought on the giants, which a lot of people will say that it brought on the giants, which the Bible does mention giants.
Right. But
So
you
does
know-
archaeological
Yes,
digs
it is.
throughout history.
Yes.
They have found giant
But
bones.
if you really look at it and look at how dark world can affect anybody, it affected the fallen angels. It affected the Watchers. Okay. The fossils?
Yeah, well, that's a good point, because Lucifer took more than half of the angels in heaven with him to hell.
It could be anywhere
To the
between
earth.
30 to 75 million.
So who says that he couldn't entice more angels to do more bad stuff?
And then when Noah had the flood and he swept out, the world was dead. The people died, not the spirit. The spirit of those giants survived. Okay.
So God didn't have a choice but to flood the earth, and he told Noah with his family to build the big ship, which collected 2 animals of each, one male, one female of each animal, and built the ark, loaded up all the animals, took his family, and they floated across the sea for 40 whole days,
And
40 days,
nights.
and 40 nights, until the water had receded.
Yes, yes. So that kind of tells you that this targeting has been going on for a long time, and it's got a lot to do with magic. And I'm sure everybody is familiar with the magic that is done, the hologram, what other forms of magic, the trickery.
Everything that's happening today.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with alien-based technology, space technology,
Voodooism.
black magic.
Black magic, Wicca,
Yes, yes,
satanic rituals,
yes, blood rituals, yes.
sacrifices.
Yes, children being sacrificed. You use a lot of children in that because it's all about control, and control's been going on all the way back to Adam and Eve, and we are descendants.
And not to
of
even
them.
knock off mind control technology that existed a long time ago, which
Long
does still
time
exist
ago.
today.
Well, they've upgraded. Oh, yeah, they've upgraded to mind control of frequency.
Well, they had to upgrade because now it's more global.
Yeah.
So now they're using artificial intelligence to mind control people, including 5G towers, frequencies, which came out of Montauk projects out of New
And
York
the Philadelphia
and
Project.
Philadelphia.
Right.
So they created all the frequencies to learn how to test, experiment, and how to control people's minds and tell them what to do inside their head through subliminal messaging,
Right.
which a lot of people know about today.
And then you got to think about Cameron and the experiments he did, the MK Ultra too. So
MK Ultra.
I don't want to go too far ahead. And we're coming to that part, maybe, are we?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Eisenhower, the 37th president, 1953 to 1961.
But before that, we're going to talk about the president. What was the president before Eisenhower?
Truman?
We're going to talk about Truman. Truman came around right after World War II. So after World War II, the Russians and the Chinese, you think, may have taken. They wanted the scientists.
Well, Truman was the president, and he was the 33rd president between the years of 1939 and 1945. So he had already been around.
Yes, and you know the president's got that book of secrets, so he had access to that book before Eisenhower became president.
Yeah.
Now there's somebody. Oh, okay.
So going back to Eisenhower,
Okay.
apparently he had a lot of connections with aliens,
Yes.
and he had collectively sold off 100 people for alien technology. Is that
Okay,
right?
the Greys. He had 3 meetings with the aliens, and he wanted the space and the alien technology. I was desperate for it. Like I said, that's secret books that only presidents get to look at. All of this information, I'm 100% sure, has been in it since George Washington, probably or further. And he met with them 3 times. He met with the Greys, he met with the Whites, and he had to decide. The Whites told him, don't mess with the Greys, they can't be trusted. But he didn't listen to them. He gave 100 human lives to be experimented on, or more than that now, huh? For just alien technology.
Yeah. So you can see where a lot of this stuff is going because of the Project Paperclip, which the Nazis had a lot of technology back then, including microwave weapons. You know, and
What
the
year
U.S.
was that?
Oh shoot, probably like
2000.
Project
19.
Paperclip probably was right after World War II or
Yeah.
towards the end of World War II.
Yeah.
That the U.S. government was accepting a lot of Nazi scientists, and a lot of people will admit to that, including
Took 'em
people that
right
have worked in the
underground.
government.
They had a plan for us a long, long time ago.
Yeah, which conducted microwave and mind control technology and attacks,
Perfected it.
including Silicon Valley out of California, which is right in San Francisco. They created all the small semiconductor microchips, which Silicon Valley is known to be very innovative with new technology.
Yep, and I think it's here in Arizona too.
Yeah, there's talk about people trying to make Arizona the second Silicon Valley, which Arizona is already covered in artificial intelligence and small semiconductors and microwave technology and artificial intelligence and torture and the building blocks of its own creation and foundation is just growing. They're getting bigger. If not, it's getting smaller.
Yeah, so anytime they tell you something's coming, it's already been here 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it's been here for a while.
Mhm.
So the Holocaust, the Holocaust
It was terrible.
had happened.
It was horrendous.
Now, the Holocaust was a time when the Nazis were test experimenting on people with everything that they had. They didn't care if they killed them or not.
They wanted to kill them.
They murdered about 8,000 people, and then they would call for more to come in for more test experimentations.
Altogether,
free labor
they murdered 6
for experimentation.
million.
Yeah, 6 million people. So they would use the Jews and the slaves to build all their underground bunkers and their layers to do all these things, and then they would test them with plutonium or whatever they had, some kind of chemicals that would kill them. They
would gas
the Nazis.
them.
Yeah,
they would gas them in the bath. They would like hook a machine, like if you in your car and you turn the engine on and you go to sleep, and how the fumes can kill you. That's the kind of fumes they were putting in the bathhouses that they were using, killing them, taking them out of the bathhouse and burying them in the wood on top of each other. They had no respect for Jews at all. They thought they were better than Jews.
Yeah. So that's what happened, and it is true. It's history.
It's history.
And I would definitely research the Nazis and what they were doing back
And the
then.
Holocaust to see if it connects to what we are going through. So do the research.
Yeah. So the next would be where are we today with everything that's happened in the past, from the time of Jesus' birth, Adam and Eve, the targeting, Moses and the Noah of Ark, the Nephilim, the sin of the world, Joshua taking down the town of Ai, which is Ai, and President Eisenhower, which is 37th president, to the Holocaust, to World War II and Truman. We're a continuation of what's happening today.
It's,
Further advancement of technology.
right. If you look back at how they were targeting people in BC, targeting people in AC, before Christ, after Christ, targeting people back then. They were kind of doing it in the same way, but different. They probably did have some of the alien technology or entity technology where they taught them how to conjure up spirits evil to help them with their assaults against humanity.
Yeah.
Yes, so they've come a long way.
The fallen angels are still believed today to be in existence, and
Yep, because
yeah.
their body died, but their spirit did not die. The grays are walking in on the earth. The whites are walking on the earth. The entities are walking on the earth. And the demons are walking on the earth. So we got all of this dark stuff to deal with concerning our targeting. And we say, oh my God, somebody touched me. You look around and there's nobody there. It's a force field of energy.
Yeah. So with that, I would like to add on a note before we move on to the next segment is a new bound of life from the beginning. A new bound of life and from the beginning. So that would mean something.
A new bound of life from the beginning. Wow.
Okay, so the next one is going to be we wanted to add Hollywood deaths.
Hollywood deaths. Do we ever really look at the people that were targeted in Hollywood? How suspicious.
How big it's gotten, how things have gone.
Right.
How many things have they gotten away with for what? Almost 100 years?
Yeah,
some would say?
or more.
However long they've been around.
And it's some of the same things that us TIs die from. And some of it is called natural causes. Oh, really, though? So let's
Well, some of these people are not clearly natural causes because back during the times of people that we're about to speak of, these people were killed everywhere.
Everywhere.
That included Hollywood actresses, movie stars, musicians, political people.
Yes.
Anybody that had a mouth.
They have no regards for human life whatsoever.
All they who have a
don't care
mouth
if
let
you're
them speak.
black, white, green, or purple.
Or brown.
Yep, they don't care.
So the first person
Young or old.
on the list was Elvis Presley.
Oh, wow. Remember what happened to everybody when Elvis Presley died? They say he died of a heart attack. Some people say he died of a drug overdose. Some people say he was very depressed. But whichever way it happened, however way he died, I think it's all a part of targeting myself.
Yeah. James Dean.
Oh, you got to take
He died in 1955. Michael Jackson. James Dean was a big character. He was a big guy back in the day. He was a very big movie star, and apparently he had his death was faked by some people believe.
Yeah.
So, but that was in the year 1955, and he was a pretty cool guy, I think.
I think it was a stroke or a heart attack. We could do the research on him to find out exactly. It's just really suspicious.
And then there was Michael Jackson. As time moves on, more people get targeted, and then we have Michael Jackson, which went through a series
him to death
things
with pedophile and pedophile, and then he ended up with kids. The kids was wearing masks because he was scared something was going to happen with the children. And then he got really depressed from all of the stuff that was going on in the court system.
Yeah, they were trying to take his kids. I think his wife had divorced him or something.
Yeah, Lisa Presley in his relationship and how he couldn't connect with the nurse. And
that's funny.
He got really depressed from a child star.
Yeah, much like what happened to Robin Williams, because he had died from a drug overdose as well. But after he very suspicious because he ended up making a movie, which was his last movie, which you can find that out. But he had apparently had committed suicide after that by a drug overdose, pharmaceutical prescribed drug overdose. So the next one is Marilyn Monroe. That's a big one.
She
Marilyn
was
Monroe.
beautiful. She dated John Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy, but why they were dating? And you know how men can talk when they're in a real comfortable situation. They shared information with her that they should have never shared. But even if they hadn't have shared it with her, the FBI and the CIA would have found out.
Yeah.
They'd have found out.
Yeah.
You know, because there ain't no telling, they might have had a bug in there. J. Edgar Hoover was head of the cotton picking FBI.
Yeah.
So, you know, J. Edgar Hoover.
You know, those days they had bugs everywhere on everybody.
Everywhere on your phone. Everything.
Sorry. Yeah, they were everywhere, which is what led to JFK's death. Because once he gave that free speech about the machine that's happening, which we're all experiencing today, JFK was a week later killed.
They got rid of him. And then Robert Kennedy, they killed him in the kitchen of a hotel. They just came right up to him and blank shot him right in the head. They have no regards for human life. No regards. It's all suspicious.
They don't care. All these things go back to the corruption, just the same as King Herod.
Yeah, all the way back there.
They don't care. They'll cut your head off and put it on a platter for a dance.
It's all about control. And they want all the control, no matter what it takes. It can take your child's life. As long as they get what they want, they don't care about, they don't mind killing you.
Nope. Not even if you have kids, not if your kids get killed, not if you get killed, whoever, whatever. That's mafia type style stuff.
They don't care.
They don't care. They want their money.
Yeah.
So next one is going to be Lynyrd Skynyrd. Everybody likes Lynyrd Skynyrd. You know, Freebird, the song. They had crashed an airplane, which was probably more natural with aircraft going down. But also, people still talk about how it was a forced crash. His engine blew out, and they ended up crashing. But you have to do some research on that yourself to find out.
Because they could have tampered with the engine. You know how they tampered with the cars? Let's tamper with the brakes and tamper with the car, and the next thing you know, the car's not driving right, and it's going through, and the airplane can be the same exact way, because they can tamper with that.
Yeah. So the next one is...
suspicious.
Very suspicious. And a lot of people talk about that. The next one is Natalie Wood, a person that had fell off a boat drunk and was found several hours later turned upside down, face down in the ocean in California. So that was believed. She was with a man, I believe Robert Wagner, and apparently she had fall off the boat. But that was another movie actress that was murdered in Hollywood and ended up, face down the ocean.
They might have known too much.
So they have found her. Another Hollywood death, like Marilyn Monroe.
Suspicious.
Yeah. And the next one is, and everybody might know this person from the 90s, is Tupac Shakur. He was a fixated death that happened because of gang-related wars. So we know that gangs can target people. They can go after people. They can do this. They can do that.
I think it had something to do with his lyrics of his songs. His mother told him that and his girlfriend kind of told him she was a little bit nervous about the lyrics of his music. He wanted to help people through his music. There was a lot of people that listened to his music. I was one too. But the weird part about it is that why would the FBI? They beat him up a lot. They targeted him really bad. The police gave him a run and a half. But why? Why would the FBI have a 400-page document on Tupac Shakur? Why? Suspicious.
Probably so they can try to indict him or something. Or to scare him. So, and by the way, gangs actually have small intelligence units. Gangs use intelligence. They're everywhere. There's a lot of gangs nowadays that use intelligence to be able to hack you, track you, find you, kill you. follow you, know where you are, know who your family are. There's gangs that use intelligence, much like the CIA.
It's easily purchased on the
It
black
can
web.
be used. It can be done.
If you piss somebody off, that's your neighbor, then you could do whatever you want to do. You can purchase everything almost that they use on us, except for the really high end stuff.
Yeah, and another thing I like to add is gangs will use text chat groups or texting apps to follow you, harass you, or do the things that you wouldn't believe that would happen to you. But all these people in these gangs that are out throughout the entire cities will do these types of intelligence work on you to scare you, harass you, bug you, run you out of town, or even kill you, make you lose your job, your family, your career. Things are more accessible these days, and it's easy to do anything anybody can do anything they want to anyone.
Yeah, just so many different ways that you can be targeted.
So the next person is going to be George Reeves, which was the first Superman ever back in the 1950s, and he had died of a gunshot wound. Somebody had shot him, which was a TI, I want to say Hollywood death, because Superman was very big back in those days, and he took a gunshot wound. Somebody shot him.
Could have been from jealousy or something he knew, or somebody he was with. It's just suspicious.
Yeah. The next one is Bob Crane. He was a series show star of Hogan's Heroes. Bob Crane, which was in Scottsdale, Arizona, had passed away. And somebody had killed him, I want to say. But Bob Crane was a pretty good actor, and I want to say that was another Hollywood death, even though it was in Scottsdale.
You look at, okay, you got shot, somebody was mad at him. But I know TIs that I've gotten shot. I know TIs that I've done an overdose. So when you look at stuff like that and look at the age, suspicious.
Yeah. So the next one is going to be Malcolm X.
Malcolm X was very outspoken, and the Muslim religion, they target him first.
Anonymous official
and then
warned.
he got the FBI and the CIA. In the CIA, I'm almost was 100% sure that they were the ones that shot him. But they sent in a patsy, and the patsy shoots a person, then they kill the patsy. I don't know if it's an insurance policy that if the patsy decides that their life is not worth it, they don't care, they want you to look after their family, maybe it's a trade. Their life for supporting their family for the rest of the family's life. Who knows? Suspicious.
And the next guy is, the next person that had passed away is Martin Luther King.
Oh my God, and we all know that they targeted him.
It was probably the same person that killed Malcolm X.
The, J. Edgar Hoover, he was head of the FBI, and he put that hit on Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had too many people, 1 million people in Washington marching all the way from Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah, they wanted him dead. He had too much influence over people. He was getting ready to change some stuff, and he was doing a very good job. And what I loved about him, he didn't care what color you were. He says it don't matter the color of your skin, but the character.
Yeah.
So, and the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover was head of the FBI.
Oh, yeah.
And he put that hit on him.
Yeah, he sure did.
They knew where he was at all times. Who would have known, just like TIs, you go out your front door, the next thing you know, 2 or 3 of your neighbors are opening their door coming out.
Right
Really?
at the same time you were.
You're burning.
It's like, oh my God, can I just get a break?
He just came outside and they were already waiting for them because they knew they could hear what was going on inside that hotel room. And when he came out, they killed him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the next person is going to be Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston died in a bathtub. They said she drowned. You're high on drugs. You're going to take a bath. I don't think so. That's very suspicious. But her daughter Bobby died the same way, and the same guy that was in there with Whitney was in there with Bobby when Bobby went into a coma. Suspicious. I wonder if Big Bobby got compensated for that, because you know that they can sell you out. They can sell you to the Illuminati.
Yeah. Really.
And they can get a lot of money. I haven't heard a lot from Bobby Witt. What is his last name? Hootney Wisdom. Whatever. But I don't even want to talk about him because I'm not happy with the way that went down.
The next one is the 3Js, the 3J conspiracy. Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, and Janet Joplin all died.
Wow, all died.
In the same year.
Mm-hmm. And they all died of an overdose.
And they were all musicians, musical players, musicians.
Mm-hmm. Jimi Hendrix died, throwed up, choked him to death, I guess, because either drugs or alcohol. Janet Joplin died because somebody gave her some bad drugs. Do you know about the other one?
Well, Jim Morrison had passed away in Paris due to heart failure, but some people say that he had fled to escape what was happening inside America. But some people say that he's still alive today, which it could be.
It's a possibility, but isn't it suspicious how this stuff goes down?
How the targeting happens and the CIA gets involved in everything.
Then the FBI steps
which people have been talking about the CIA for decades.
Yes, they said they're a corrupt agency.
It was always the CIA. It's always the CIA.
But you know they're talking about the FBI being corrupt now.
So now I want to mention this character right here, and his name is Kurt Cobain from the music group Nirvana. And Kurt Cobain had mentioned that he hears voices, which ended up killing himself. He shot himself in the head with a shotgun. Mm-hmm. But he ended up killing himself, and I'm sorry to your sensitivities if you don't like hearing about shotguns and stuff. But he ended up killing himself, and which he had heard voices in his mind.
And how do we know he killed himself, or could somebody use a rubber glove or a cloth glove, put the gun up to his head in a position that he would be holding it in, and shoot him dead because maybe there's something he knew.
Yeah.
You can't never tell. Suspicious. And then put his fingerprints on the guns. So yeah.
The next one would be Jesse Ventura.
Wow. He's not dead. But after doing all of those videos, what was it? Brain, oh goodness, I can't even think of it. But he was...
Brain Invaders.
Yes, Brain Invaders, all of those series.
Jesse Ventura was the old governor of Massachusetts, and he did a video, including with Robert Duncan, about Brain Invaders, which is what your artificial intelligence, AI confiscation of your mind, learning your thoughts and your deep process, and taking your memories, your mind, your freedom of will, your choice, your beliefs, your eyes, everything. So that's what we're going. That's what that was, and that's what that video was about.
But he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. But the next one, very quickly, because we're running out of time, is Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls. I like the way you call me Biggie Papa. He was kind of outspoken. But I think it had something to do with the record company both him and Tupac was in. I think it had a lot to do with that. Because I don't remember Biggie Papa doing any lyrics that were, activist type like that. So.
Yeah, I remember Biggie's music back in the 90s when I was a kid. And I would listen to him all the time. I mean, it was cool, And that thing between him and Tupac is a conspiracy that'll go on for decades and probably be there forever. So the next one is going to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump went through two impeachments through his presidency, and then later raided the Russian hoax, all that stuff, the Chinese,
Stormy Daniels,
espionage. When he was the only president really trying to do anything.
January the 6th.
January the 6th.
What is it? Mariago, illegal, the invasion of Mariago when the FBI just bum rushed right into his house, broke right in their house, destroyed his house, His family has been targeted.
Yeah.
His children, Donald Trump, Eric Trump, his daughter, and then I gotta go a little further with this, and his baby boy, his 16-year-old baby boy.
Isn't that sad? You target your kids like that?
Yes. But his wife, the one that just died, I remember reading an article years and years ago, I think shortly after they got a divorce, that she was a targeted individual.
Yeah. So
But she
then,
never publicized it.
so yeah, and at least we can say that Donald Trump is still with us in some ways.
He is still alive.
And he's still planning on running for presidency in 2024.
Yeah.
And please, no white supremacy stuff on this channel. We don't want to hear it. That's not what we're about, and we don't want to, raise that kind of altitude because of multiple things. But that's anybody's opinion. Anyway, John Lennon would be next on the list.
Wow. The way he died was very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. I don't remember exactly how he died. I think he was also shot, was he?
John Lennon was killed.
Yeah.
He was a freedom public speak activist, and they ended up killing him.
They don't want you to tell the truth.
They don't want you to speak truth or kill
They want
people
you
off.
to lie.
Yeah.
It's better if you lie. That way you... But even when you lie or you try to be on their side thinking it's going to save your life, it don't always work.
Right. And the next one is going to be, we're probably going to have to skip down the list, is Robert Kennedy.
Killed him right in the kitchen of the hotel. He knew something about the secrets of the president. I gotta say no more than that.
Yeah. Well, Robert Kennedy, which was the brother of JFK, apparently they want to get all the Kennedys out of any kind of presidency or political party or in the White House or anything like that. So, but that was a memorable time, during that era, and you won't ever forget those people. So the next person is going to be Edward Snowden. What did Edward Snowden do? He released information on intelligence.
Yeah, but
He worked for the CIA and released information on the CIA and NSA because he worked for both intelligence entities.
But I think he had one foot to the good and one foot in the dark. That's just my own personal opinion. I think he was like a mix. He was what? He was a mixologist in the political realm and the job situation between, CIA and NSA.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was really smart, which he took off
Very
to Russia,
brilliant.
and he's still being held for treason to this day. And none of these political people in the government's being held for treason against the American public, American people. So, how can you give treason to someone that was exploiting information? What? Just because they work for a government entity or some private entity like the CIA? Are you serious? Anyway, next, and this is probably going to be
The last one.
let me say this: Abraham Lincoln was also murdered because
Shot him dead in the
they
head.
shot him dead. He was one of the presidents that did die from gunshot wound.
Yes.
His
So he was
assassination.
targeted. They didn't appreciate him doing that bill to free the slaves, and what that bill is. So, yeah.
And
It
plus the war between the North and the South, which was a big one, and economics. It was all tied in together in a place where it was just chaotic, and we were going through changes through the country of reconfiguring our space and free will and nature and rights and momentums and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
you know,
So, but that takes us from the beginning all the way through, and the technology that we are facing now has been around probably for 3,000 years.
oh yeah,
Or more.
probably longer than that.
Yeah, much
But
longer
but if
than
you
that.
if you see it like today, like the last two people that we have on our list is Britney Spears and Kanye West. Both of these people were infiltrated by these cults that use all this technology stuff. They don't care if
Yeah.
if you're a part of a cult and you try to get out, they use technology on you. It's been done, and it's happened in the past, and it will happen if you join a cult, because you will never leave a cult.
Once they got you, you never go. Just like gang stalkers. Once they got you into gang stalking, they're not going to go. They're not letting you go because you know too much information. But we got to end this video.
We hope that you enjoyed it. You know, we worked, you know, we
diligently.
Yeah, you know, piecing together information. So we hope that you enjoyed it, and
Yeah,
hope that you keep returning back and share our videos out to your family and your friends and people that if you think it's interesting. If you don't think it's interesting, let us know.
yes.
You know, a lot of you know who we are, but we want people that don't know who we are. So the people that does know who we are, please keep sharing it, because we want to express this information to the world and let people know, you know, what's happening in the target community and outside the world and everything else, because it's important to do that.
So keep your head up tall. You know, I would love to end this video by saying, you know, help is on the way. But I don't believe help is on the way. But I do believe one thing. Us TIs in the community need to start sticking together.
Yeah.
Because we're all we got.
Yeah, pretty much. So I would like to end this video with the love and the light, and may the Holocaust of the neurotechnology era end in 2022.
Here, here.